Hey everyone, thank you for listening to The Farm. If you like our content, get entertained by it, then you can donate to our Patreon and contribute to The Farm. That can be reached at patreon.com/thefarmpod.
And if you want to stay up to date with the latest information and see any polls we put out or any information on a new episode, be sure to follow us on Twitter at The Farm Podcast. Thanks for listening.
What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 4 of season 2. I'm here as always with Dan. And
what's up, gamers?
not as always, we do not have Cameron on today's episode. He had more pressing matters.
He has the Indian paralytic swine flu.
Yeah, it's deadly.
Very serious.
It's lethal. No, it's not. He has a cold. He's being a baby. Anyway.
Yeah, true. Okay.
So
flu shots, kids.
we're gonna talk about video game consoles this week. Woo. But before we do that, we are going to discuss our goats of the week. So Daniel, what is your goat of the week, man?
So I don't have one singular goat of the week.
Oh.
I have the goats of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Today, my goats of the week are the international basketball community. The NBA award.
Okay, man.
All right. The NBA awards were last night.
Yeah.
And a lot of international talent won some of the major awards. The MVP award went to a Greek / I believe his family is Nigerian, Giannis Antetokounmpo, the Greek Freak, which is really cool. Defensive Player of the Year went to a Frenchman, Rudy Gobert.
True.
Most Improved Player went to Pascal Siakam. Everyone's favorite.
Where's he from? Congo?
He's from the Cameroon.
Oh, yeah, he's from the
Cameroon, baby.
Man.
And then the Rookie of the Year went to Luka Doncic. I don't care where he's from.
Slovenia.
Yeah, and so, yeah, it's just kind of a cool thing, you know. Basketball is a very global game, and I feel like we don't appreciate enough how much the international talent brings to the game.
Hey, and then the champion was from Toronto.
That was from Canada.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or what's your other one? Oh, wait, that was... I see.
So, Ben, as you browse Twitter, which is your...
Candidly, I forgot to think of my goat of the week. It's not that I forgot. There is just nothing that memorable that happened to me this week. So
just
let
Dan's idea for the podcast.
Browse what I like. Let me browse what I liked on Twitter.
Oh, man. Should be that video of that dog.
Oh, that video's... I feel like you have to see it, though.
Yeah, you do. It's pretty funny, though.
Okay, my goat of the week. I'm late to the game, but I started watching True Detective like a couple weeks ago. The first season, with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson.
Dang, that's
Have you seen it?
No.
It's so good,
really?
dude. Like, it started off really boring, and I almost didn't give it a shot. But then a friend, Kylie, told me that I needed to continue, and it was crazy.
Really?
Crazy. So you should...
Dang,
you should check
that's like
that out.
The 5th show I gotta watch right now. I just started Parks and Rec.
How is that?
You know what? I'm really starting to like it.
Yeah, I feel like you just have to get kind of used to the
Once
humor.
I got halfway through season 2, I was like, I like this.
Yeah, I feel you. Halfway? How long?
No, I've been very busy the past few days, as you can tell.
Dude, I think 30 Rock is even worse. Like, you have to get through 3 seasons to really understand the humor.
Huh. I still like it. Like, I still liked it for the first season and a half, but then, like, once I was like that, I was like, yeah, it's just, I, like, really enjoy it.
Who's your favorite character?
Dude, April.
Yeah, she's hilarious. Didn't she just do a spicy... Hot ones.
Did she just do a hot take on
hot wings spicy?
I don't know. I actually haven't seen that.
I think she has.
Check that out in a minute, so I'll have to do that. But.
Yeah, man, dude. Yeah, I don't go on YouTube and just watch this, right?
Oh, I so do. What the heck's wrong with you? Why would you not want to do that?
You're right.
I also need to see Chernobyl.
Yeah, I do too.
Alright, that one's crazy.
Yeah.
And I need to finish Good Omens too.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Netflix. It's an Amazon original series. It's based on the book Good Omens by Neil Pratchett and Terry Gaiman, I think.
I thought you were gonna say Neil Patrick Harris. I was like, what?
No, it's actually really good. It's only like a 5-part miniseries.
Okay.
It's really good. I loved the book. I read it my freshman year of college.
Dude, I still haven't seen Catch-22.
Oh,
I need to.
So good.
I forgot that existed, actually.
George Clooney's in it.
I know. The GOAT.
That's all you need to know.
Facts. All right, without further ado, we're going to dive into game consoles. So, as always, we have our 4 head-to-head matchups of what we deem to be the 8 greatest consoles of all time. This one was tough, but we will admit
Very
that.
tough.
Just because there are so many, and there were so many that were revolutionary. Even recently, like the Nintendo Switch, that was like an honorable mention that just barely missed the cut.
So hard to cut that one.
And like the Game Boy Advance,
My personal favorite.
Game Boy SP. So like there were a lot.
Yeah.
But our top 8 were the PlayStation 2, Xbox 360, Atari 2600, the Nintendo Entertainment System NES, GameCube, Wii, Game Boy Color, or Game Boy and Game Boy Color.
Yeah.
And the Nintendo DS/DS Lite.
Yeah.
So, all right, in our first matchup.
Before we start with that, should we kind of talk about some of the worst of the worst?
Sure, man. Well, yeah, let's do
Let's
it.
start with the worst. So
Okay.
we haven't done the WOATs in a minute.
Yep. Sure.
But we were looking through the list and we're like, man, some of these are trash.
Yeah, real bad, real bad.
The 4, we just selected 4 horrible ones. And that was the Wii U, the Nintendo 2DS, the Virtual Boy, my personal favorite of the worst, and the Game Boy Micro.
You're biased, man. You're
I'm
biased.
so biased, even though it was trash.
So we did like a loose ranking on these using the same criteria that we do for our goats. And the scores were abysmal.
Yeah, like sub 10.
Do we have a bracket for this?
We do. I believe the first matchup is the Wii U versus... we have the Virtual Boy versus the Game Boy Micro.
So that's a big matchup.
That's a big matchup. The Wii U versus and then the Wii U versus the
So are we
Nintendo
doing the
2DS.
lower score moves on?
The lower score moves on.
Yeah, okay.
So the first one, Virtual Boy, Game Boy Micro. I'll talk about the Virtual Boy. This was a really bad attempt at virtual reality. That's pretty much the way to put it. It was this little. It was so like imagine like like the Oculus goggles or something, but imagine that on a tripod. That's essentially what the Virtual Boy was. It wasn't real VR because you weren't really immersed in the game, and everything was red.
Wait, so how did it work?
You just had put your head up
just
to it.
close to the screen?
You literally just slapped your head against it and then played.
That's tough.
It was a weird attempt at VR. People complained that their necks and backs were hurting. It was hard on their eyes, and that it was hard to play.
Wasn't it discontinued in a year or something?
It lasted probably 9 months.
Oof.
But it's so funny. Like, I think it's hilarious.
Yeah,
Like,
that's awesome.
they really tried something big there.
Dude, I gave it a 10 for influence.
Yeah, this actually scored a 45 for me. Their only points for me were for influence at all, essentially. Popularity, abysmal. Sustained relevance, not really. Reach, I don't think anyone actually bought it. And accomplishments, obviously, didn't have any.
Yeah.
was
Got a
garbage.
solid 13 from me.
Oh, I didn't put an accomplishment score, sorry. It got 10 for me.
But the Game Boy
sorry.
Micro,
Please talk about the Game Boy.
I don't really know much about it. It's essentially like the Game Boy Advance, but with
The
two
size of a
buttons.
stick of gum.
Yeah, it's really tiny, and it came after the SP. They were supposed to try something new, be revolutionary, and it just completely flopped. No one bought it. They discontinued it very quickly. Yeah, I mean, I didn't heard of a Game Boy Micro before I started researching Game Boys for the goats. I was
I think
like,
they just kind of swept it under the rug a little bit.
yeah,
Yeah.
trying to forget it. So I gave it a 3 out of 50. 3.
Okay, well, I tied it with the Virtual Boy at 11. Because I think, like, it sold some. Some people... I looked online and some people said, oh, yeah, I remember I had a Micro. So, I have a tie with the Virtual Boy, but since you have it, we'll push forward the Game Boy Micro.
Yep.
Virtual Boy's not the WOAT.
All right, next one.
And then we have the Wii U and the 2DS. Sweet Mother Mary. All right. I'll talk about the 2DS.
You have to see the 2DS to believe that it's real.
It's a slab of concrete. That's what it is. So everyone knows the Nintendo DS. It's the little foldable one. Cool design.
Very
I think
normal.
stylus, you know. It folds to make it smaller. So imagine that unfolded with no hinge, but bigger. And that's what they threw at you with the 2DS.
It's a cheese crisp versus a quesadilla.
Yeah. And it's a huge cheese crisp. And it's supposed to be like a portable gaming device. It's like this. It's like, I guess it's like an iPad, but way worse.
It still has the two screens
still has the
for
split
some
screen.
reason.
Not one big screen, 2 split screens.
It's like 2 PSPs together, but with smaller screens.
And it's like they're attempting to make like a low-cost gaming system available for everyone. Great idea. Love the thought behind it. That was your finished product?
It's like the Model 3 of
Dude,
a video game
It's
console.
like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like,
Whack.
Totally whack. No relevance, no influence. It's if I could give a negative score for influence, it'd be that, because it's like a 1960s piece of machine.
I thought,
It's like
okay,
10
it
million,
didn't
though.
influence anything, but was the first of its kind. I gave
What
it
a really,
I gave
really
it
bad
3,
system?
I gave it 3 for pioneering. It was the first thing to have 2 screens.
The DS did.
No, but 2 screens on one flat.
Yeah, there's a reason.
I'm not saying
it's
it was
never
good.
been
I
done.
know. I'm not saying it was good, but it was a pioneer.
People haven't tried to make cars submersible for the same reason.
Not yet.
Yeah, not yet, because we don't have the technology for it. It's just a dumb idea.
Dude, ahead of its time, you'll see.
9.
Mark my words, listeners.
9. I gave it a 9.
Okay. I gave it a 6.
Oof. What about the Wii U?
This was my highest score, actually. Out of
That
the
doesn't
4.
surprise me.
The Wii U is an actual gaming system. People actually bought it. It superseded the Wii. It just didn't live up to the hype.
It was just, I'm not going to say it was a worse version of the Wii. It's just a way worse version of the Switch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really get what they were trying to do. Like, I have friends with the Wii U, and
It just
everyone would be like, all right, who wants the Wii U controller? Like, all right, I guess I was time. We like take turns.
clunky.
Yeah, you like watch your screen, so it feels like you're not part of the game. Like everyone else is looking at the TV, and you're just like,
Yeah, you're just kind of sitting there.
you can look at the screen,
Get
but
what
it's
they were
weird.
trying to do with, I'm playing a game up here, and then this is kind of my secondary screen. It's like they were trying to extend the DS, but just way worse.
It's way
Just infinitely worse.
Plus, they made it backwards compatible, which helped because then you could still use Wii controllers. But because of that, they didn't adopt the new controller.
Right.
Like that's one thing that we'll get into with the Wii is that they forced everyone to use the new controller.
Yeah.
Like they kind of just gambled on it and said, "All right."
Lost.
No, they did all right.
They did all right. I gave it a 14.
13.
All right, so the 2DS moves on, as does the Game Boy Micro. I have the 2DS with the lower score. You gave it a 6, right?
Yeah, Micro has the lowest score. Lowest score for me.
Oh, it does?
Were you have the 2DS?
I have the 2DS with the lower score.
Oh.
Because I hate the 2DS.
Dude, I'll take the 2DS. That's fine.
All right, 2DS is the WOAT. Come on, Nintendo, be better.
All right.
Now we'll get to the main event.
All right, goats first thing. Matchup. What's the first matchup?
PlayStation 2 versus the Xbox 360.
All right, this is a heavyweight.
This is crazy.
I actually have a tie for this one, so
Huh.
looks like you get to choose who wins this one, man.
That's crazy. I'll talk about the PlayStation 2
Yeah,
a
that's
little bit
fair.
first.
Because I own a 360. I guess you own a
I own
360 too. True, but I didn't own it too. So you talk
Okay,
about
PlayStation 2, released in 2000. It is the highest selling video game console of all time, which is crazy. I think that like 157 million units sold. Was produced until 2013. So this was like, I think it was a 6th gen or 7th gen console that survived until like the 9th generation,
It was
which is
crazy.
unheard of. Like people, like that doesn't happen because people just want the next and newest thing. People aren't still using the old ones, but people were still using it. On its very first day, it got $250 million in sales. That's nuts because it was released at $299, which is...
It's kind of expensive.
Yeah, it was very expensive for the time. A lot of these, like adjusted for inflation, insanely expensive.
Yeah, dude.
So this one would probably be like a $400 console now. I actually have the inflation for the rest of them, but I didn't for this one for some reason. So one of the big draws of it was that it was also a low, because at the time DVD players were very expensive, and the PlayStation 2 had DVD compatibility, so you could plug your DVD into that and watch a movie. So for some people, they just use it as an inexpensive entry DVD player,
Right.
which is kind of cool. But then a lot of people, that was a big draw to them. Like, I'm getting two things in one. Like, this is a steal. So they did that. One of the biggest issues they had with the PlayStation 2 was keeping up with the demand. So there was during the holiday weekend in 2002 or something, or 2001 in England, there was only 6,000 units available for sale because there was a cargo ship that was going through the Suez Canal in Egypt, and a Russian oil tanker got stuck. So this ship full of PlayStation 2s that was being sent from Japan could not get through. So there was a huge shortage in England. I thought that was just kind of like a funny little story.
That's some like butterfly effect.
Yeah, that's
nonsense.
some weird. Maybe it was just a Russian scam. I don't
maybe.
know. But yeah, I mean, it's listed by many to be one of the greatest consoles of all time. IGN listed it as one of their
Top five, I think.
Yeah. And so one of the cool things, there's accomplishments was very hard for this topic. There's not a lot, like, it's hard to rate that. So I looked at some of the peripherals. So the iToy was something that they had, which I did not know about this. I forgot about the iToy. It was like a webcam that you could attach to your PlayStation 2, and there was games that you could do motion with.
Oh,
so it's like an
really?
early version of a Kinect.
That's pretty cool.
So I think that's really cool that the PlayStation 2 did that. That really upped its influence, or its pioneering score for me. So that won a lot of awards, and then it featured some of the, and kind of boosted some of the biggest franchises of all time. Shadow of the Colossus, which
what the heck is that, dude?
For us hardcore gamers, Shadow of the Colossus is one of the first real cinematic games where it was designed more so to be beautiful as opposed to have insane cool gameplay. Shut up, man. This is my time to shine. So that kind of opened up the door for, you see a lot of games now, Red Dead Redemption 2, really big with being all big cinematic experience, and people really care about the graphics and stuff. So it was one of the first to kind of enter in that. And then, of course, the Grand Theft Auto series. Grand Theft Auto 3 was released on the PlayStation 2. And Guitar Hero, Rock Band, that kind of stuff. Loved playing those. So it just kind of brought that new era into gaming. So, yeah. That's what I have to say about the PlayStation 2. One of my personal all-time favorites.
You touched on everything I had to say. I'll talk about the Xbox 360 briefly. The Xbox 360 was the first to do a ton of things and do them all very well. It was the first 3D gaming console.
No, not 3D. HD.
HD. Yeah, I was like...
That's a weird thing to say.
Oh, that doesn't make sense. First HD game console. It was the first one... with like an online gaming feature like Xbox Live, where you could do that through or game with others through online servers. I also realized that it kind of, I don't know if it was the first to do this, but it definitely popularized like how video game consoles distribute digital media, like the YouTube app.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a Netflix app at the time, maybe in later updates. But it was the first to do that. I also researched and saw that they were the first gaming console to have game achievements.
Yeah,
which is pretty
cool. That was
cool.
a weird, cool thing.
I don't think people like really care about that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hardcore gamers do.
I mean, there was a whole YouTube channel called Achievement Hunter where you could look up how to get all like your gamer score really high.
I'm sure.
Or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, like when I would get really bored in 2K, like I'd shoot for achievements, for example. But yeah, so that was a big thing. Half as many sales as the PlayStation 2.
84 million.
But I did know that of the other two consoles in its generation, the PS3 and the Wii, it had an attach rate, which is like how many... It's like your secondary purchase once you buy the primary purchase. So for video games, it's like... For video game consoles, it's how many games you buy.
Or like headsets.
Yeah. It had an attach rate of 7.5 games per console, whereas the PS3 had 3.8 and the Wii had 3.5. So people were buying twice as many games for the Xbox compared to its competitors, meaning they liked it a lot more, they used it a lot more, they got more duration out of it.
Yeah, mine's still kicking.
Yeah, I think I still have mine too. So, yeah, I gave the 360, or I have a tie. So,
I just want to see if there's anything else. I mean, another really cool thing that Xbox did with Xbox Live is they released the first platform for indie game developers to put their games out there for the public. So they had the Xbox Live Arcade, they had a certain indie game thing, so any developer could put their games out there for mass access on Xbox Live, which had never been done before, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I mean, that's genius that they were the first to put an internal wireless connectivity device in there. Like that's
crazy. I mean, it's what everyone like. Fortnite would not be a thing.
Yeah, duh.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, they did it with I think the second model of the Xbox 360. I have like the first one, and I had to buy a dongle for like $100.
That's funny, yeah.
I've spent so much money on that thing, but yeah, I mean, it won in the 2007 Game Critic Awards. It was nominated for 38 awards and won 12 of them.
It was the most that year, or like compared to all the other consoles.
So I have the Xbox 360 winning this one by a hair.
That's shocking.
Yeah, while the PlayStation 2 did a lot, the Xbox was just that. It was a little more influential, less reach, but I think more popularity, more accomplishments, and a little bit more sustained relevance. So
for sure,
it was a 2-point margin for me. I have the Xbox winning.
Cool. All right, what's our next matchup?
The Nintendo Entertainment System, or the NES, and the Game Boy Color.
Okay, I actually want to talk about the NES.
Really? Okay.
I was very surprised to see it's my third highest score.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
really,
I don't know where to start. I guess I'll start with its influence. So, wait, what's it against? The Atari?
No, it's against the Game Boy / Game Boy Color.
Okay, that's fine. So the NES was the first major game console after the 1983, I think it was, video game crash.
Yes. Remember a while.
Yes. Yeah, so that's that we'll get into that with the Atari, but essentially gaming just became a very saturated market. There were a ton of video game consoles out there that people could buy, and people were becoming more interested in like personal computers at the time because that was just coming out, obviously way more useful. Yeah. So video game console sales just started to decline rapidly. So the NES was the first console like after the crash, and for it to be as popular as it did while people were still really wary about that is just makes it that much more impressive. So it sold nearly 62 million units. It was the best-selling game console of its time, and it paved the way for some of the most popular games now, like Super Mario Bros, Zelda. People still buy like emulators for NES. I also wanted to point out like a minute influence detail is that it had the first front-facing cartridge slot, which made it fit better in TV stands.
Oh, that's smart.
Which is very smart, and like
cool. I didn't know that.
That's I don't know. That probably made it a little more attractive in its sales.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was also voted the #1 console by IGN, which is a pretty big achievement.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and it's also established the third-party game development model, where we'll talk about it later what that kind of model is all about. But it really made it more popular, as in Nintendo didn't just release a bunch of games with it. They said, "Hey, you guys got to make games for our system," and that's commonplace now. We're like, we don't know how anything else besides that. So yeah. I'll talk about the Game Boy / Game Boy Color. So the Game Boy family has I think 7 iterations of the Game Boy. Yeah. Which is crazy, which has made it insanely popular with sales. It has sold 118 million units between the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color, and every iteration between that. It was really the first big handheld gaming device. And those things were known to be durable. So people had those things forever. I think in late 2000s, like early 2010, or decade, whatever, there was a Game Boy found in like Iraq, like in the rubble of a bombing, that was still functioning.
That's unbelievable.
So from its release in 80 something, I think that's when the original Game Boy was. The Color was in 1998. It was still functioning.
Wow.
So these things were incredibly durable. You could throw games in them for hours and play it all day long, and it's going to be working completely fine. And so the color would be discontinued in 2003. It was very popular because of its backwards compatibility. With the later models, you could use like the very early Game Boy games. It was just video games on the go wherever you wanted to be. So you could bring. I mean, I know when I was using my Game Boy Advance, I would bring it to the dentist office. I'd bring it out to car rides when I didn't want to sit there and do nothing.
I think we've talked about this on the pod. I wasn't allowed to have a handheld gaming console.
And that's why he's the degenerate that he is today.
That's right.
But yeah, so I got to see firsthand like the experience that is. I found it the other day. I dug through our stuff and found it, and I played it a little bit. I'm like, this is still enjoyable. So I mean, it really kind of, there would be no DS. There probably wouldn't even be the idea that Wii U had with the little tablet or the Switch today. We wouldn't be where we were without the Game Boy. So I mean, that's huge influence score for it.
Yeah, it was. I mean, everyone had or wanted a Game Boy.
Yeah.
Like, it's iconic. I don't know how else to explain it.
It's just the Game Boy. Like, it's...
Yeah.
It's just what it is. It helped define gaming as it is today.
So I have the NES winning this one by...
I actually have the Game Boy winning.
Oh, man. All right. Well, we don't have a third to settle the score. So, wait, what do we do? Oh, don't we do higher score?
Oh, yeah. Which one was your higher score? Or what was your... Oh, well, independently.
Oh, we do margin, right?
Oh, yeah. How much did you have the...
6.
You had it winning by 6?
Mm-hmm.
I had mine winning by 4, so... It's
All
the
right.
NES.
NES.
All right.
So we're kind of crunched for time. In the future, we might call it like phone a friend and see what they think. But right now, we cannot do that.
GameCube DS time.
Okay, GameCube DS.
This one kind of hurts.
Yeah, a little bit. I'll talk about GameCube unless you really want to.
I'm not hankering for it.
So the thing is, I love the GameCube. It's probably one of my favorite consoles.
Yeah. I think most people would say that.
Yeah, a lot of people love their GameCube or want a GameCube. Its games are still really popular, like
Super Smash.
Super Smash Bros. Melee, Mario Kart, Double Dash, Super Mario Baseball, Strikers, yeah.
Monsters Incorporated, Dodgeball.
But weirdly, it's sold less than 22 million units. In fact, if you're trying to buy a GameCube right now, it's like $500 to $600. Just really expensive because of the low supply and high demand. Economics, baby. I'm so mad I just downed on camera. Well, that sucks. I'm so mad that we have a video aspect. Okay, anyway. But it didn't have a ton of influence. It was the first game system to use discs instead of cartridges, but...
It used micro discs, too.
Yeah, true. But that was really it. Not a ton of accomplishments, like, no one rated it really that high on their list.
Yeah.
It was in the top 20 for IGN, but nothing spectacular. I don't know,
It was just insanely popular.
Yeah.
I think it's the greatest console to have when you have friends over.
It is.
Because the game, like
It's a party
Mario
console.
Party, yeah, it's a great party
Mario
console.
Party, baby.
Like Mario Party, like we said before, like Mario, Super Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Even like some of the weirder games that had. Do you remember the
Star Fox. What?
Super Monkey Ball?
Oh, so fun.
It was Donkey Kong. I forget what it was, but it was the bongo one.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
That game was so cool,
so
dude.
fun.
You literally had a bongo drum as your controller. You just sit there. It's like Dance Dance Revolution with a bongo.
It was awesome.
So much fun.
Ahead of its time.
Yeah, unfortunately, the GameCube did not get a very high score for me, unfortunately. Had the best peripheral and hardware in 2001's Gaming Awards, but...
Wow.
Yeah, that's about it. I mean, it sold less than the N64.
Really? That's
Yeah,
crazy.
that's bad.
I don't know how they missed on that.
I don't know either. It's just so ahead of its time.
Well, I was told, or I read some like critiques that said it was kind of just a toy. It didn't really all it was gaming. It didn't have any outside features. Whereas, I guess the Xbox and PS2 didn't either.
I mean, I think I think I saw a hit on it was that it did not take DVDs and it wasn't a DVD player.
And the Xbox did, I think.
Xbox did.
And CDs, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that, but whatever. And so then that's mashed up with the DS. I'll talk about the DS. I don't have too much to say about it besides it was insanely popular. 154 million sold, second highest of all time. Launched in 2004. Had the two-screen technology that we were talking about a little bit with the Wii U, where you had your game up here, and then it utilized the second game as more of a secondary kind of additional information screen, which I thought was a great idea. And it had the stylus, which is cool. You could touch stuff.
Try to like color in the screen all black and race your friends to do it.
Exactly. Yeah, it had like that kind of weird community aspect to it.
Yeah,
like there was
you
like
could like
chat
connect
rooms.
to each other's Wi-Fi. Like you could connect to a friend's device's Wi-Fi if you were close enough.
Yeah, which is cool.
It was cool.
So it added a kind of a new kind of era of community with it that wasn't available with handheld gaming before. Yeah. Like there was like the links, you had to get a cord and connect it to your friend's thing. Like it's a pain.
Yeah.
So it kind of had that revolutionary thing with it. It was insanely popular. I wanted a DS so bad, never had one. Made Pokemon blow all the way up.
Yeah.
And it had backwards compatibility with Game Boy games, which I thought was cool. So you could take your old Game Boy games, slap it in the back, and then you have a brand new game to play. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it was another console that I think is just iconic. You know, everyone had a DS or a DS Lite or wanted one. I got a DS Lite late to the game, like 3 years after it came out. I got it so like my friends and I could play Pokemon in high school. But shout out James, Hank, Brendan. But yeah, there aren't too many tangibles about the DS Lite. I will say it sold out within 2 days.
That doesn't surprise
of releasing on major online retailers.
Yeah. And everyone had one. My grandma had one. She played Brain Age on
serious?
it. Yeah.
Brain Age, dude.
Like people looking at 10 Dogs, like stuff like that.
True.
So
Kirby Squeak Squad.
No, we're not talking about
the
that.
best game.
So yeah, I have DS winning.
Cool. I did too. Only by one.
Whoa.
All right. What's the fourth?
Atari 2600 versus the Nintendo Wii.
Okay.
I want to talk about the Atari 2600.
Cool.
So, for those of you that don't know, and I didn't really know before, the Atari 2600 was the first like gaming console. Mm-hmm. So originally, what it was is you bought a game, you plugged it into your TV, and it was like a little console within itself. You played Pong or you played like Pac-Man or something like that. You just plugged it into your TV, and that was it. This was the first that popularized ROM cartridges, which was you had your system and then you put a game into the system and then you play the game that way. So that wasn't a thing really before. And it also used microprocessors, which a lot of the other systems did not use before that. Mm-hmm. And it was released in September of 1977. So for all of our old timers listening, I'm sure you guys remember this. And so Space Invaders was one of the really big games on that. It's still in arcades to this day. People generally know what Space Invaders is. Mm-hmm. It was in Wreck-It Ralph. That led to the real third-party game development start. So that wasn't a Nintendo or an Atari game, I don't think. And so it was an outside game that they had available for the console. So that really started the whole third-party developers wave that was also made popular by the NES later down the line after the crash. But this was really what got the gaming industry going. Like the Atari 2600 was cool. Like you have this thing that can do what? Like it sold 30 million, which for the time is very impressive. It was produced until 1992.
It's crazy.
Like the end of 1991, like January 1st, 92 is when it was cut off.
They halted production for a bit though, right?
Yeah, they did pause the production for a bit, but I mean still the fact that they were able to relaunch it to some success is crazy. It was originally priced at $199.
I saw this.
$800 for it, like adjusted for inflation. And
crazy.
People still bought it.
Insane.
Crazy. And this was another thing that it had, so...
It's like an iPhone.
Yeah.
Like a bad iPhone.
Yeah.
Bad.
Whoa.
Yeah. Like a 7.
Don't hate on my 8, man.
Dude, hey, I have a 7.
Broke kid. So
donate to our Patreon.
True.
Anyway.
So before games was like Pong, it was here, this is your screen, this is your game. The Atari 2600 introduced the game being bigger than the screen. So the screen was not all you could say. You could go to the right, and then there's new things over here, like in like Zelda games or whatever. So it revolutionized what games really could be. It showed people a whole lot of potential. Wasn't the most powerful system ever. Not even close. But it still changed the way that people look at games.
For sure.
It was the first gaming console inducted into the Toy Hall of Fame.
I saw that.
which is, I think, really cool.
Yeah, it is cool.
One other console has made it on there. I
Which
believe. I don't. I think the N64 did, but that wasn't on our list.
Yikes.
But yikes. But yeah, I mean, it's iconic. It started. We wouldn't be where we. I've said this 15 times this episode. We wouldn't be where we are in gaming without the Atari 2600.
No, it's interesting. You bring up a good point that it was the first major video game console to like make video games popular, and it also led to the video game. It was like the last console before the video game crash.
Yeah.
1983 that we talked about earlier. So it was kind of like the beginning, and the temporary end of video games. But yeah, I mean, like it kind of epitomizes retro video game culture, like Pac-Man, like you said, Space Invaders, Asteroids, Missile Command.
Yeah.
Like people like Urban Outfitters sells like T-shirts with that stuff on it. Yeah, it's retro. It was like the true pioneer.
Yeah.
All right, the
talk about
Wii. The Wii.
Classic.
So I mean, people don't really play the Wii anymore, but
Speak for yourself. Played it last week.
dude, they were like saying like the stats of the most sold game, and it was like Wii Sports, and I was like,
Because it came with the
comes
console.
with the of course it is. It's probably the biggest pioneer in this whole
In the entire list.
podcast. I mean, motion-driven gaming it just seemed like the future, like the Jetsons, you know?
Yeah.
It just did not seem popular. Like, I remember when it came out, I was like, wait, really? Like, it can sense my, what? No.
Yeah, I remember when it came out. I'm like, oh my gosh, lightsabers!
Yeah,
Like, this is gonna be so cool.
Yeah. Super fun. Its two competitors flopped. Like, Microsoft tried to do the Kinect,
Oof.
which I had. It was not great. And Sony did a even weirder one.
Oh, those weird things.
Yeah, with the
that was not
orbs.
cool. That was not cool.
I think it was decently popular. 100 million units sold.
Yeah.
It was probably the most competitive generation in
Yeah,
the century,
PS3 and
and
Xbox 360.
the 21st century. Yeah, has a good amount of awards. One thing that I thought was funny, I was researching, and I guess the British Medical Journal did a study. They found that Wii players use more energy than they do playing sedentary computer games. While this energy increase may be beneficial to weight management, it was not an adequate replacement for regular exercise. I was like,
Really?
They really needed to do a whole study down to
I don't know, man. We fit. We fit. Someone I was obese.
Someone got a grant to do something that you could just observe in 20 minutes.
Yeah. Like, oh, yeah, you move a little bit during that. Probably is not better than running 3 miles.
Oh, yeah.
All right, yeah.
Cool.
Stamped it.
Good
Done.
to know.
Yeah.
So that was kind of funny. But, yeah, I don't know. Popular, not crazy popular. Who's the Wii? Yeah.
Can you imagine being on that committee? All right, guys. I think that maybe the Wii's good exercise, but not better than traditional on someone on the board. No way.
There's some guy.
way.
Well, actually, if you crunch the data and the sabermetrics,
Have you ever played Just Dance? Have you played Just Dance? You move like crazy in that Rasputin song. Wild.
I have.
This is close. This was very close.
What was it against? Atari?
Yeah, I have the Atari winning.
I have tie.
Atari it is.
Atari it is. Okay. We're going to take a quick break and then we're going to jump into our semis.
Woo.
Peace. Yeah, all right, we're back. And better than ever. And we're going our semis.
Matchup number 1. Xbox versus the NES.
Okay.
Because the Game Boy did not move through.
Correct. I have
To intergenerational battle.
360
I've got the 360 smashing it.
by 1 point.
All right.
So
Glossing over that.
I guess I can't really say. I'll just say NES score, dude. Whatever.
Yeah.
I gave the NES a 40. Clean
Wow.
40.
I didn't
dude.
give the NES that much love.
It had above 7 in every category for me.
I didn't.
Or
I didn't
7
give it-
or above.
I probably should have given it more accomplishment score.
It got number 1 on IGN.
Yeah.
Oh, that was pretty big. I give it an 8
It's
for
just
that.
it's so hard to judge for that, but Because it's like something like Action Pad Game Awards.
I was pretty generous with my accomplishment numbers for all these.
Yeah, that was kind of harsh. I shouldn't have been. Whatever.
It's kind of picking and choosing.
I'm so sorry, Nintendo. Then our second matchup. This one was very close. The Nintendo DS and the Atari 2600. I've got Atari winning this one.
Dude, oh yeah, I did too.
Okay.
By 2.
Oh, I have it by 1.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think that was really close. They're both huge pioneering
Yeah.
systems. The Atari is just so...
I'm surprised the Atari isn't higher for me. Its biggest thing is the reach.
Yeah, the reach, I had to knock it a lot.
Which wasn't its fault. That's the thing
No,
that's
it's just
sucky. It was just the
Just
circumstances.
what it is, yeah. Like, I don't know.
And because of that, its popularity.
Right.
Anyway.
No, I don't think because of that. I mean,
Actually, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
everyone that had it liked it. Like,
Well, I
wasn't, like, the
read
most
something
popular.
that said like Pac-Man tanked when it first came out, and
Which
then
is so
another
crazy.
game, I think Asteroids or Missile Command, one of the other ones that came out like just did not do well, and those like led to its decline.
huh?
So kind of weird because
Yeah.
Pac-Man's super fun and people love it now.
Love Pac-Man. My mom
Yeah.
loves Pac-Man. Your mom
fine.
probably loves Pac-Man.
Your mom probably loves Pac-Man.
enjoys
dude.
playing games like a normal person.
Crazy.
Whack. All right. So moving on to the finals, we have the Xbox 360 versus the Atari 2600. One really recent one versus the dinosaur of the group.
I just won by a landslide, dude. Bet.
Really?
Yeah.
This is a three-pointer for me.
Versus the Atari?
Yeah.
This is a 7-pointer.
Which one do you have winning?
Three city.
The 3 City?
Let's-
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, 41. A firm 41 out of 50.
42 for me.
Wow.
So
Dang.
So we got a 41.5 composite score.
That's crazy.
It's about time we got one of those on
Yep.
camera.
Yep. Yeah, man, I don't know. I was shocked. I really did not think it was going to be the GOAT.
I didn't either. I thought it was going to be something older, but apparently not.
I forgot about its Xbox Live. I forgot about its digital media distribution.
I just didn't realize that it was the first to do so much of that.
Yeah, exactly.
I just kind of took that
Yeah,
for granted when I was playing games.
for sure.
When I poured 8 days into Call of Duty.
Well, the weird thing is I had the original Xbox, and then when I got the 360 as a Christmas gift, I was like stoked.
Yeah.
But I didn't really like realize how big of a disparity there was between the consoles. I was like, oh, this is dope.
Yep, cool.
Whatever.
All right, that's enough of that.
Because, I don't know.
Yeah, so that puts it above Real Madrid.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, Real's at 41.3 and this is at 41.5. So Real Madrid, you've been relegated for the first time in your So it's now Kanye West, the Xbox 360, Real Madrid, and Oprah Winfrey.
What a list, dude.
That's a lot
You'll
of
never
goods.
find a list like that anywhere else.
Nowhere else on the internet.
Donate to our Patreon.
Follow us on Instagram now at The Farm Podcast.
Huge.
As chief social media intern, it is my job to run that account. You can find highlights from our normal podcast videos that I also put on YouTube. I actually do all of the work for this podcast, and Ben does nothing.
It's true. It's true.
So, yeah, that's it.
Peace.
I think.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, folks.
in
Topics
next week.
to be determined as always.
Woo!
Because we're the worst. Peace.